What's going on, you guys? I am Hugo, or the Shapefish31 Clearwing Secret Dragon, and it's been a long time. A little over 3 months by my count, and I really am sorry. I've just been extremely lazy. I've been out of school for a little over a month now. Closing in on 2 months, actually. I just want to take some time to relax. I just don't have school anymore, at least until August. Regardless, here we go with another video. And when I talk about Pokemon, I usually talk about the anime a lot, while rarely ever discussing the games. And so I just want to do this video a little differently. I've already talked about my favorite female leads of the anime, which is also overdue for a remake, but I'll save that for another day. So instead, I want to make this video talking about my favorite female characters from the games. While I do enjoy the female leads of the anime, I also really enjoy the female characters of the games, which is arguably what pretty much draws most people to the franchise. So without further ado, here we go. My top 10 favorite female characters of the Pokemon games. Starting off our list is Iris. She's cool. I'm glad she does help you out in the Gen 5 games, even if it is just maybe 1 or 2 times. I love her energetic personality because I love me a Genki girl. Anyway, although her status as possible gym leader and later champion is pretty limited because I really don't think she helps out at all in the final Clash of Team Plasma at the end of the first Black and White games. And she doesn't really do much as champion, which is a shame because I really wish she could have been involved more in the story. Regardless, Game Iris is probably the only character from the games I think is better than their anime counterpart. A cool, well-intentioned extremist, and her story in the Delta episode is one of the more fun post-game stories in the core gaming series. I understood her motives, but like with Iris, I wish she could have been involved more in the story since the events of the Gen 3 remakes are pretty much her fault. To be honest, I would have loved for the Dragoness to be somewhat of a secondary antagonist in the post-game of ORS, like what Team Rainbow Rocket was for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Regardless, I do like Zinnia. She's a cool and likable character who, despite her shady and morally gray actions, ultimately wasn't a bad person. Was probably one of the best villains of the core gaming series to date. Initially a kind woman, at least as far as we know going from Lillie and Gladion's dialogue, to becoming a complete and deplorable psychopath. Honestly, I never expected her to be the main villain of the Sun and Moon games, initially. Lucy was a character I found to be more sympathetic than apathetic, with pretty much all of her actions coming from an attempt to find her husband who was lost after an incident with an Ultra Beast, which got worse when exposed to Nihiligu's neurotoxins. It was nice to see her make somewhat of an improvement, or at least begin to, according to Lillie, by the end of the original Sun and Moon games, but I'm really not too keen on how she's portrayed in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, with those depictions of Lucamine being far less antagonistic than what they were in the initial installment. Lucamine becoming a deplorable and sympathetic villain into a well-intentioned extremist that's just borderline needlessly cruel, especially given how she disowns Lillie and Gladion for different reasons almost. Regardless, still an excellent character. And hello there. Wallace, you fantabulous fruitcake, why didn't you tell me you had a niece? And one is as smoking hot as Lesia too? Anyway, all jokes aside, going back to what I said about Iris, I love Genki girls, and Lesia being a contest star is personification of that. I found her energetic attitude, upbeat nature, and sometimes over-the-top poses and outbursts to be insanely adorable. Lesia has probably one of the most pleasant personalities of any character in the core gaming series of Pokemon. She is such a sweetheart. She gives you all you need to compete in contest spectaculars, which I always thought was a fun minigame, even in the original Gen 3 games. She doesn't believe in rivalries because she doesn't care about being the best, rather want to make sure that people in Pokemon have a blast while watching contests. Lillie is the kind of girl that's just downright impossible not to like. She's the kind of person that I would love to be around and be friends with. She's the kind of person that makes you feel like you can do anything, and it's just all around bonus points for her, because I love me a girl who's sweeter than sugar. I think I done found my Pokemon waifu here. Dustnor, do me a solid. Trick room for 2, please. Well, given how Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are confirmed to be in a separate universe from the original Gen 3 games, we can say that these 3 girls are technically different characters, despite being the same person, sort of. Regardless, anyway, I didn't think much of Game made in the original Gen 3 games, but with the remakes, they made me adore the character more thanks to the improved graphics, giving her more facial features, giving her a little more life with her dialogue. Remake May has more personality than her original counterpart, coming off as more of a Genki girl. Auto points. And feeling more like a rival and friend than her original counterpart did. I love that she travels with you more throughout the game, she's more helpful, plays a large role in the game even if it's not terribly detrimental. She's so adorable and sweet that I just can't help but smile every time I saw her during my playthroughs. May in the games feels more like a companion than a rival, and I absolutely love that. First female champion to grace the series, and of all the champions we've had so far, it can definitely be agreed upon that Cynthia is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest. Having probably the most diverse team of any champion we've had so far, spearheaded by the almighty Garchomp that will absolutely f*** you up if you aren't ready for it. Regardless, this is a character I really do like. I do like that she does assist you in dealing with Team Galactic, especially in Platinum, although I don't really think she helps as much as people say she does. Truth be told, I think she's honestly overrated as a champion. While she is tough, I don't think she's that tough. Either way, Cynthia's a darn cool character and I can understand why she's a fan favorite. For me personally, I feel like Cynthia is how a champion should be portrayed in the Pokemon games. She doesn't appear too often, she doesn't appear too much. She gives you sage advice when you see her, and she does help out with the villainous team. I definitely think she's more involved than other champions have been, and that's the way I think a champion should be in Pokemon games. Cynthia may not be my favorite champion, I will say that she objectively is the best champion. Oh, Serena, Serena, Serena. Even in the games I adore you. Granted, I don't like you as much as I do your anime counterpart. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Come at me! While I prefer her anime counterpart, I still do like Game Serena quite a bit. Game Serena is probably one of the most jarringly different characters from their anime counterpart, with a clear difference in age, profession, even relationship with the main character, whether it be at games or of the anime. Game Serena still has one of the key components of her character that I felt made anime Serena such a great character. The desire to separate herself from her parents' legacy and make a name for herself with her own power so she doesn't recognize being the child of 2 great trainers. Anime Serena wanted to be a performer unlike her mother who was a Rhyhorn raiser, while Game Serena wants to master Mega Evolution to separate herself from other trainers, believing that that will make her special, and believing that everyone being different is a good thing. The story of trying to find your own path or make a path for yourself to escape the shadow of another person close to you is something that I've always loved to see in fiction, and both of which are traits that Serena has in both the games, anime, and manga that just makes me love this character. Across all media, even if I do prefer one over the other. Going back to Serena for a minute, I love the story of someone trying to find their own path in life and to find something they're passionate about because that's something that I can relate to, and that's part of the reason why I love anime Serena so much. and view her as the most human developed character of the anime and of the whole franchise. Bianca has a similar tale in the games, starting off her journey with you and Sharon, despite her father's wishes of her not going on the journey because he feels like she's too immature, and Bianca herself doesn't exactly know what she wants from her journey. Then later on she accepts that she's not strong as a trainer like the main character or Sharon, which plays into Black and White's theme of truth and ideals. Bianca represents truth, since she knows that she's not strong, trainer-wise, which later helps her find her own path, reflecting Sharon, who has served as ideals, believing that power is the main necessity of a person being a good trainer, while the main character in In also foils in this regard. Then come 2 years later in Black and White 2, we see that Bianca found her path and working as Professor Juniper's assistant, and we see that she's much happier because of it. The story of someone finding their own path is something that I've always loved. It's because of this that made Bianca a delight when playing through the Gen 5 games, and making her one of my favorite rivals, from a character standpoint. As much as I love Serena games, I really didn't think I would like a character in the X and Y games as much as I did her, and then lo and behold, the X and Y post game gave us Emma. I loved her side quest of initially being an orphan growing up on the streets of Lumia City, and involuntarily the leader of a gang, before meeting the player character and Looker, into becoming a girl who found a home and job to make sure that people don't go through what she did. After Looker takes her in as her legal guardian, gives her a home, and teaches her how to read and write. Although that doesn't really explain how she's bilingual, but whatever. Then she inadvertently joins Team Flare to get a part-time job to help Looker as her way of thanking them for taking care of her. With her kindness being something that made Zerosik have a change of heart, and allowing himself to be arrested by Looker at the end. Emma had a heartwarming but at the same time sad story in the X and Y post-game. And really, this is a character I wish would appear in the anime. She could have played a big role in the story as Astina, and had a character similar to what she did in the manga. Even though her character in the game and manga are almost identically different, her manga counterpart is noticeably a little more fleshed out. Regardless, this girl was quite a surprise for me in X and Y games. Now, as per tradition on my channel, before I invade the number 1 spot, here's some honorable mentions. Other female characters I really did enjoy, but just fell short of making this list. Lillie. A character I heard all kinds of good things about before I played Pokemon Moon for the first time, of how she's supposed to be such a well-written character. And honestly, I was kind of hoping I could say otherwise before I played Sun and Moon for myself. But when I did, I couldn't because she's a far better character than I thought she would be. And she most certainly did live up to the hype. I love seeing Lillie slowly grow out of her shell, of a reserved and shy girl who didn't like Pokemon battles, and borderline looked down on you and Hal for being trainers, into a more energetic, outgoing, and open girl who bonds with Hal and the player character and sees that Pokemon battles aren't as bad as she thought they would be, and decides she wants to be a trainer herself. With the shining moment of her growth as a character being into the first battle with Lusamine, where she becomes Z-powered Lillie, and decides to be her own person instead of the doll that her mother made her out to be. Although, like Lusamine, I didn't really like Lillie's characterization in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, with Lusamine's character pretty much being rewritten, from obsessive psychopath to an overprotective, well-intentioned extremist, that effectively changed Lillie's character as well in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Her outfit change had less meaning behind it. She doesn't have that scene on Executor Island, where she mentions she wants to be a trainer herself, which gave more growth to her character, which makes her becoming a trainer at the end of the game kind of random, but there's really no build to it for that in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I do like that you can battle alongside Lillie in the Team Rainbow Rocket part of the post game and as a partner in the battle tree, But I feel like her character in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon wasn't quite as strong as it was in the initial installments. Regardless, she's still a beautiful character. One of my favorite characters of the games, and overall, my favorite Pokégirl of the games. And that's it for this video, you guys. Those are my top 10 favorite female characters of the Pokemon games. Do you agree with this list? Do you disagree with it? Who are your favorite female characters of the games? Comment below and let me know. Now that I've done a video where I talk about my favorite female leads of both the anime and the games, even though the anime is due for a remake, all that's left is to discuss my favorite female characters of the Adventures manga, which I will do when I'm done reading it and I'm halfway through with it. And then a composite video where I talk about my favorite female characters of the whole franchise. But until then, I have one more idea for a Pokemon themed video, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, I am Yugo, or the Shipper 31, clearing Synchro Dragon, and that's all for now, you guys. Stay gold, everyone.